The finals. We're on the play. Yeah, it's a keep. Looks fine. Nothing coming down anytime soon, but still pretty good ratio spells to lands. And Heart Beast is very good in our deck, so I think this hand is gonna have to work. Alright, opponent also keeps at 7. Alright, Patron, fine. Callblade. Haven't been overly impressed with that card. Ooh, little hanger backwalker, huh? I guess we jam it. I just kind of want to make a play this turn. We're going to be busy for a few turns, I imagine, so all right. Like now I can rip a 2 or 3 drop and still use hanger backwalker, or I can play the alpha and not use hanger backwalker. This does let my opponent potentially kill it, but that's okay. Fetid imp. Alright. Take our punishment. Let's see what we draw here. Kind of like to draw 2 or 3 drops. Stalwart Haven, Consul's Lieutenant. These would all be excellent draws. Land, a little less exciting, still fine. I think we are going to jam an alpha here. And pass. We'll take the Abbot. Blazing Hellhound is quite good. All right, what do we got? There's our Lieutenant. So, interesting. So I could play the Patron, play the Heart of Beast. Got some options here. Kind of want to use Hangerback Walker now so we can't sack and kill it in response. In which case I play Lieutenant. He can sack and kill something to kill my Lieutenant, and I guess I'm okay with that. Otherwise I play Patron but leave Hangerback Walker vulnerable, but I do get a 4/4. It doesn't make the best use of mana to play the Lieutenant, but I like kind of protecting my Hangerback Walker a little bit. I think I'm okay with this. So we'll go Walker now and Lieutenant and pass. Like I said, not the best use of mana, but protects me a little bit better against that Blazing Hellhound. Of course, he could be the Steal and Sack deck, in which case I'm in trouble either way. He either steals Hangerback Walker, gets a couple tokens, or he would have stolen my Patron of the Valiant and gotten in for 4 points of damage, both of which are pretty bad. At least Callblade doesn't work so well with the Steal and Sack model, deck model. Trying to think out what my next turn is. I almost want to draw a land so I can go Patron or Heart of Beast plus Pump. Probably Patron since it's just a big threat. But God, Steel and Sack. I mean, it's presumably Steel and Sack with the Hellhound especially, which is a problem. It's certainly a problem. Like he could easily go Active Treason, Hangerback Walker, sack it, kill my lieutenant. This becomes 2/2. He gets to swing with both of these guys. I probably block the Abbot. Maybe I block the Cullblade. Yeah, I probably block the Cullblade actually, since it would turn into a 3/3. So that's kind of like, I feel like worst case scenario right now, which is intimidating. But if he has Active Treason, I guess I'd rather him play it now than play it on my better guys. I do feel as though we're a little bit vulnerable to the Steel and Sack deck, but I guess that's another plus for having Evolutionary Leap in the deck. In response to your Active Treason, I'll just sack my guy. Get a creature out of it. I'm not sure if opponents like double queuing or got something else going on. All right. Shadows of the Past. Good card. Why that one? Really? All right, I'm intrigued. My opponent was so intimidated by Hangerback Walker that they... I mean, admittedly, he gets to scry 3 times, but that seems like a pretty curious play. Like, now I get to swing with everything, too? Plus play Goldforge Sentinel if I want, but more likely Patron to make Lieutenant even bigger. Could also play the Heart of Beast, but I think I want Patron to pump my Lieutenant. That was a really curious play. I mean, Hangerback Walker's good, but... All right. Now we slam a Patron. Or Goldforge Sentinel. Makes better use of the mana. And I want to save Patron for when I'm renowned. Okay. Not the worst. Especially considering we've got plays for days. Plays for days. It rhymes, so you know it's good. Opponent still does not have... I haven't been checking their scries, by the way, but whatever. Whatever. All right, Citadel Castellan's good. I still think we slam our oh-so-valiant Patron, since this is straight-up lethal next turn unless my opponent does something pretty quick here. So he's got an Unholy Hunger, he's got a board wipe of some sort. Fetid Imp's pretty good. Still dies because of the trample. Yeah. Wow. Wowzers. All right. Once again, I got to go back. It was a really questionable play on my opponent's part, doing the double Blazing Hellhound on their turn just to get rid of a Hangerback Walker and give me tokens. It seemed a bit too value setback. It absolutely ended up being too much of a value setback. I mean, granted, it's a big problem, but that almost tells me my opponent doesn't have Active Treason. Like, why would you do that if you have Active Treason in your deck? Why not just, like, hope that you draw it rather than, like, completely set back your board state? At least that's what I would have done. So feel like we likely keep it the same. I can't think of stuff I'd like to bring in. We don't have too many sideboard options anyway. Most of the time, even against aggro, I don't really like Yoke Docks. Oromancer's an option, actually, for bringing back Knightly Valors. He's black-red, so there's a chance he's got at least some Unholy Hungers or something. But I think everything else we've got is pretty good, so why don't we just keep it the same and try again. This is a keep. I mean, granted, it's a lot of lands, but we're on the draw. We've got a 2-drop play. We get to play Evolving Wilds on turn 1 to do a little bit of deck thinning. Although it finds a green. Do we even need double green in the deck? I guess we don't. So I still think we start with Evolving Wilds, but finding a white mana. I know that seems weird, but in case I draw Council's Lieutenant, I think that's actually more important to me than getting 2 green mana. I feel like we're going to find 2 green mana at some point. I just want to deck thin, basically. Hangerback Walker, yeah, we're going to play it for sure. Because now we get to play Timberpack Wolf plus Pump. Or get it removed, which is acceptable. Alright, Husk. It's got to be Steel and Sack, right? You don't play these cards unless you're Steel and Sack. Alright, well, Lieutenant's pretty awesome. Wouldn't mind drawing an Evolutionary Leap. Alright. Decent value reaped by our opponent there, but not like insane. I mean, we get Renowned here too, which is pretty sweet. Guess I should have faked the Celestial Flare. Blazing out. He's got to be Steel and Sack. Like, it's almost no doubt in my mind. I can't imagine my opponent's not the Steel and Sack deck. Ooh, Somberwald Alpha too? Jeez. Yeah, that's just insane. No reason to show the Foundry yet, so let's just bust the Alpha out. So you can't even double block the Lieutenant here. You can't double block anything, really. Well, I guess you could double block Timberpack, but that doesn't even matter. It's a pretty nice trade for us. Traded our 2-drop for a 4-drop. All right. Pia and Kirin Nalar. Very good, actually. But I still think we're okay here. Question. I don't think we want to play Foundry yet because we're not going to crack it. We're going to play Goldforge Sentinel. So I guess we swing team. My opponent can sack some tokens to kill our lieutenant, but sacking 2 tokens when you've got Pia and Kieran Nalar out, I think, is going to be just fine. We can also give trample theoretically, but I don't think that we do. Opponent really doesn't have great blocks. Do wish that I had a pump effect here, but we're going to live with this. Don't want him to know about Foundry yet, for sure, but let's bust out the old Goldforge Sentinel. So he can kill Consul's Lieutenant with his Stopter. That eats up 3 of his mana. Well, Fetidim's pretty good for him, actually. Ooh, Leap is actually pretty spicy. So this is interesting. I can swing with... Yeah, I can actually swing Lieutenant and Thopter. Actually, let's just slam a Leap right now. Because if now he wants to sack in response. But if he does, then I get in with Goldforge Sentinel. He kind of has to sack here. So he didn't, which is insane for us. So now we get to bash with Lieutenant and Thopter. Certainly not going to bash with the Sentinel into an Imp. That's just free. Okay, so he's going to sack to try and kill Lieutenant. We get to leap the Lieutenant, which is sweet. Get a Patron off the top, which is pretty sick. Play a Foundry and pass. Hellhound. All right. It's got the black mana up. Might of the Masses. So let's go... Patron. Swing with our Thopter. He can sack the Hellhound. He can sack Pia to kill the Hellhound. We get to then Evolutionary Leap and get yet another creature. I still think this is worth it. More value reaped. Like, basically I traded a Might of the Masses for a Pia and Kieran Nalar, which I guess isn't great, but opponent still has the black mana, much to my chagrin. Alright, we'll take 4 here. Ooh, Celestial Flare is a spicy one. Could have waited for him to give the death touch, but that's it's funny that in response to the he was just so eager. I guess we sure, let's just play the Avon. We could there's no reason to Foundry, I guess. Well, I should have left up the 3 green then, I guess, but that's okay. That's okay. All right. Well, 1 and 8-4 with a green-white beatdown. Got a hanger back walker, too. This was a pretty successful draft. No doubt. All right. That was fun. Our next draft will be another 8-4. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you then.